I'd just like to talk about our policy on being against mandatory vaccination. Our policy has been the same from the beginning. We've got evidence, it's evidence-based, and it's from listening to what staff are telling us and seeing the whole picture, not just a short debate about would you want your loved one being cared for by staff that are not vaccinated. You need to see the bigger picture. Firstly, if good staff leave rather than be vaccinated, it will tip care homes into crisis. And they are borderline now, believe me. So many whistleblowers have lost their jobs during COVID, and good caring staff are hard to come by. And if staff are so frightened of having the vaccine that they'd rather leave their job, then I think that, you know, mandatory reporting is the equivalent of putting a spider down someone's back if someone's frightened of spiders. You know, at the end of the day, you need to address the fear, and you need to give people information that they can rely on. So what support have staff had so far in the NHS and healthcare, social care? Staff have told us they've tried to make an appointment with the GP because they wanted to ask questions about the vaccine, and they couldn't get an appointment for weeks and weeks, and that they weren't really ill, so they didn't qualify to have, you know, that kind of help. There's nowhere else for staff to go except online and looking at leaflets where people want to see a human being answering their questions. None of that has been provided to staff that are frightened. Also, among these staff, there will be a percentage of people that are frightened of needles. Now, you know, to actually disregard and disrespect people's fears is totally wrong. I mean, it's an integral part of caring for people as a care worker, in like recognising that they're frightened, their fear might be illogical, but you don't disrespect it. You try to make them feel safe. And I think the same should apply to staff. If care staff are frightened, and that fear is greater than the fear of COVID, so it's not it's not a slight fear, it's a really serious terror of having the vaccine. I think what they need is to have people come in and answer their questions and give them reliable information that they can trust. Not say, you have it or you've got no job. That is totally, totally wrong, and I cannot believe, well, I can actually believe this government has taken that approach. The health department, Matt Hancock, you continue to be a scandal as far as I'm concerned. You can't address the core issues, so you decide to make people the problem that are frightened of the vaccine. And that is so wrong. It's so wrong, I don't even need to go there. Let me just make sure I've got, if good care staff leave, then the quality of care will fall, and that is a long-term thing, and people will suffer because there's no one to give them a drink or to give them food and to give the basic care they need to stay alive. And you have to look at that and say, you know, do you want to lose good staff? Can you not find another way of helping them to have the vaccine? These staff care about their residents, firstly. This kind of demonising of people who won't have the vaccine, who are working in health and social care, this is wrong. We should not be doing this because, you know, everybody is frightened of something. And, you know, you might be heights, it might be whatever, but, you know, fear is fear and it should be acknowledged. Right, let me see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much from what the staff have told us. Oh yeah, a couple of other points. Staff have told us they've gone for the vaccine and been given an appointment that fell during a shift, and their wages have been docked. The second thing that's happened is that staff have been told they have to work that evening after the vaccine, even when they felt unwell with the common side effects, which I've had. We've all experienced. They don't last long. However, it's not the sort of thing that you want to be experiencing while you're driving to work. So this is the kind of culture that these staff are working in. This is the kind of management disregard of people's, you know, safety. And, you know, you're leaving these companies and this management structure to actually say to people, have the jab or you've got no job. And believe me, there's no support given, and it's totally, totally wrong. So at the end of the day, I'd say we have to respect people's fear, and we have to give people reliable information. And if they need a face-to-face with a medical professional, that should be provided to people so that they can ask questions and they can talk to a human being about the fear they have of the vaccine, and get their questions answered. Because we've got staff crying their eyes out at the very prospect of this mandatory vaccination, because they're that frightened. They're more frightened of the vaccine than they are COVID, and they lived with the fear of COVID for over a year. Is this the kind of situation you want to be putting staff's mental health in? Because it will affect mental health hugely. It already is affecting mental health. So we have policies on everything. They're short, sharp and to the point, and this policy was developed on mandatory vaccination as a result of the experience and the evidence that comes through our helpline. So that's the reason why we are anti-mandatory vaccines and pro-vaccine, but in the right circumstances. Thank you.